sentence does connect, and Last Boy goes in. That's an early flash away from PYL. Sia's going to connect. There's that 2-second stun. Imp is going to throw out
really early teleports.
That's double teleport.
Yeah, they're going to go in now. Now PYL's getting a move back. Tyrus moving in. First blood to TSM. Mod gets enough. Godby exhausted, going to be chased down. LGD though, they've already lost one. He's going to go in. 2 kills for TSM, but Imp gets the trade kill. How much can he get back? Wild Turtle now, maybe the next one.
Not over yet. We do see him trying to chase. Wild Turtle going to get some heal from that Harvester of Sorrows. 2-1 in the first fight. That's Jin's head. And the rest of RNG saying, yes, Mr. Uzi, we will do our best. Let's see if MLXG can deliver. As it stands, G2 are 3-1 up in kills. They've got a 500 gold lead. And Hyanan has been the recipient of both of those Lantern kills. If you look at the item differences as well, Perks has got himself the Luden's Echo, and here comes MLXG. He's still got that Rift Herald, but Ming's death sentence goes wide. The box goes down, Uzi jumps in. Here comes MLXG. Defensive flashes. Jankos has already killed him. Now Jankos is turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down.
Comes Perks.
Not just to find out. Perks blows up RNG, and G2 win the fight.
It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of G2. It's the shield from Jenna to try and win the trades.
Flash available for Goom. Remember, he got caught out again. Is it going to be enough damage? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Goom can do one more shot. He will go down. Watch managed to pick him off to make it an even trade. The kill, of course, went to Watch in there, but the save had to come down. He did miss out on a lot of CS in that top lane.
Goom had some great dodges right there. He was able to juke enough. He was going to live, but Watch kicks over going to secure his death and the trade.
Not over yet. Yeah, Watch is still in there. We see that Loveling is sitting around the side. He's going to face check in.
Flanking in.
Watch gets the vision. Teleport comes around. The slow on Watch. In comes going around the side.
Standard lanes, Imp and PYL, they've done it before. It's not very often, but they're just going to play straight up 2v2 and try and honestly just outclass TSM's bottom.
A lot of respect from both Wild Turtle and Last Boy, but you can see Wild Turtle takes a chunk there from PYL. He's going to try and farm up. Death Sentence does connect, and Last Boy goes in. That's an early flash away from PYL. Sia's going to connect. There's that 2-second stun. Imp is going to throw out
really early teleports.
That's double teleport.
Yeah, they're going to go in now. Now PYL's getting a move back. Tyrus moving in. First blood to TSM. Mod gets enough. Godby exhausted, going to be chased down. LGD though, they've already lost one. He's going to go in. 2 kills for TSM, but Imp gets the trade kill. How much can he get back? Wild Turtle now, maybe the next one.
Not over yet. We do see him trying to chase. Wild Turtle going to get some heal from that Harvester of Sorrows. 2-1 in the first fight. That's Jin's head. And the rest of RNG saying, yes, Mr. Uzi, we will do our best. Let's see if MLXG can deliver. As it stands, G2 are 3-1 up in kills. They've got a 500 gold lead. And Hyanan has been the recipient of both of those Lantern kills. If you look at the item differences as well, Perks has got himself the Luden's Echo, and here comes MLXG. He's still got that Rift Herald, but Ming's death sentence goes wide. The box goes down, Uzi jumps in. Here comes MLXG. Defensive flashes. Jankos has already killed him. Now Jankos is turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down.
Comes Perks.
Not just to find out. Perks blows up RNG, and G2 win the fight.
It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of G2. It's the shield from Jenna to try and win the trades.
Flash available for Goom. Remember, he got caught out again. Is it going to be enough damage? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Goom can do one more shot. He will go down. Watch managed to pick him off to make it an even trade. The kill, of course, went to Watch in there, but the save had to come down. He did miss out on a lot of CS in that top lane.
Goom had some great dodges right there. He was able to juke enough. He was going to live, but Watch kicks over going to secure his death and the trade.
Not over yet.
Yeah, Watch is still in there. We see that Loveling is sitting around the side. He's going to face check in.
Flanking in.
Watch gets the vision. Teleport comes around. The slow on Watch. In comes going around the side.
Standard lanes, Imp and PYL, they've done it before. It's not very often, but they're just going to play straight up 2v2 and try and honestly just outclass TSM's bottom.
A lot of respect from both Wild Turtle and Last Boy, but you can see Wild Turtle takes a chunk there from PYL. He's going to try and farm up. Death Sentence does connect, and Last Boy goes in.
Hello. I am not gonna lie to you. Today being late was kind of a choice. Whew. I'm feeling these interviews, man. But we are here to talk about PSG talent. Let's go. Wait, did I have water somewhere maybe? Great. Water, ready to go. So, using the same... We are still coffee gamers, however, I just want water right now. Maybe a water-only angle today, depending on how tired I get. Today, it is my stream, so I don't have to feel like I'm being rude walking away making coffee, because I'm just being rude to you guys, and, you know, it's, you're used to that. So, okay. Using the same method we talked about before, and also some tips that we got from Clement when we did the Beyond Gaming review. We're going to talk about PSG talent. So looking a little bit at, so obviously they had huge stomps regular season. They just didn't lose any games. And then they got here and they had 2 5-game series with Beyond Gaming. So more or less everyone says just watch those. But I kind of do want to take a look at maybe some draft differences or things like that existed that didn't. We obviously watched a few games from the existing series when we were doing the Beyond Gaming VOD review. Ooh. I see Yasuo Diana on my screen and I see it not losing and I want to watch, but you know, it might not necessarily be the most productive use of our time. There is a lot of Diana, and melee is Yasuo Diana. Okay, so maybe it is a good use of our time. We will watch this game from the regular season and then we'll go into the playoffs games. Interviewees? Oh, yeah. For the coaching position? We are using the playlist called Time, so I figured it was apt. Civ HD's team? Yes, Machi Esports. The renowned Civ HD team. Basically, I just wanted to watch Yasuo Diana versus a team that I wouldn't think would be complete trash. Like, there are decent players on this roster. Somewhere in the midst of regular season to get a sense for if we can predict why they might lose to BYG or lose some games to BYG, knowing what we know about BYG based on maybe some of the regular season tendencies. Okay, we're good. Let's see if we can make it. Beyond 5 minutes of the game in the first 40 minutes of the stream today. This is why I'm drinking water today, guys. So the impact of Diana using her flash early is probably not that huge in the grand scheme of things. At least basically 3 of her lanes get prio, so she's not too subject to invade, and she probably doesn't want to do much with her flash. Until, like, it'll be relevant around level 6 when she wants to do something around mid, more or less. I think some of the issues with Yasuo Diana is that people draft it really early, and so then it has a lot more obvious counters. But the combo is fun and useful. In the context of this game, everyone except for like Varus is very melee heavy. Well, Koala just did that on my screen, so that's cool. This is okay. It's better than him burning a flash because he'll just sustain slowly. He's got pots. Varus starting in lane, I mean, it's... Oh, as in, like, by close to Trundle? Or do you mean he should always leash? I think him leashing isn't too relevant. Lee Sin will fall behind and clear anyway. Bet Machi wins this game. Yeah, but PSG should get level 2 first, but they were, I guess they can start in lane, they don't have to leash, I guess is what I'm asking. Unless you're pointing out something else that I'm not paying attention to. Oh, they leashed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Close to Trundle leash. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this lane is so favorable for Callisto Trundle level 1 anyway, that it doesn't really matter if Marisol started playing at all. Varus level 1 and Alistair's level 1 is so shit. That Callisto Trundle can just walk to lane and there's no way you can get the crash off anyway, and they'll fight level 2 first. Let's see. I don't think they can get level 2 first, even if Callisto Trundle don't leash. It's really hard. But I see what you're saying. They didn't really contest wave or even make an effort to, so that's fair. But you're not gonna get level 2 until like second wave, first 2 creeps. So Meanwhile, top lane. At this point, Nara is pretty fucked. Theoretically. Even like flashless Diana can be pretty scary on this window. Looks like Kanabi played it relatively well, except for the fact that probably, let me see, earlier levels. Yeah, I mean, this guy should not be allowed to hit wave very much. Start in bush. Let's see. Renekton should be willing to trade a lot of HP in this lane, and then yet Nar still isn't able to get the push off, despite this lane not being very volatile. So I find that very weird, more so than anything else that I've seen so far. Like, I don't know. Renekton getting pushed but not losing HP for it. Yeah, not very long. This is the first VOD. I slept, I actually got 6 hours last night. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's problematic. We went back to talk about bot lane a little bit. And then I felt the need to talk about how Renekton can get pushed without trading too much HP, and how that was very strange. So Diana, no flash, but looking to gank mid here. And this shouldn't be winning for them. MCX can just engage on that. They expanded cooldowns though. Which cooldowns did they use? Okay. I mean, I think Silas could have reacted and they could have re-engaged a little bit faster. Problem is, I think I don't know why PSG would want to fight this. They should be losing on this window. I guess Kaiwin coming up. Bars coming late. This is really weird. They're just kind of looking at each other and engage. I would have done it anyway. The T1 VOD review, it took us 40 minutes to get through the first 5 minutes of... anyway, hi. So I'm trying to... be a little bit less weird this time. This is the main... I remember when Veteran got really annoyed when, I was not doing 2 times speed VOD reviews. It's like, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're coming up to the time where we're gonna have a window to use our first Yasuo Diana combo. Gemini is looking for invade and fight on this window, which... I mean, even though he's 1 level down, it shouldn't be too bad for him, especially if he catches him on a window where Diana's using camps. It's just like, post level 6, he has no chance of winning anymore. Well, he has a chance, but it's not the most insane. Especially because he will be down XP. But this invade is also pretty risky because if he commits to it, then Renekton will still probably rotate first, even at the expense of losing wave for it. Only regular speed VOD reviews. Yeah, and if you regular speed VOD review, you get second pick bane. Alright, so in terms of MCX, looking for, so we got the wave in on this window, which means that we can look for a combo, maybe building on bot wave. Looks like Maple is just winning this lane. So. Also now has Executioner's Rush, which should make it a lot easier to just skirmish 1v1. I like the way that Kaiwing and River are generally sort of playing together. Even at this early in the game. But I will say, I think if you want to make like a dive play or something with Kalista Trundle, you need to play a lot more volatile bot and see if you can use Yas. Diana timer. Because now I'm setting this pixel here, so let's go back and talk about this because I think it's kind of huge. So what I was saying is that the window we'd want, right, is if Kalista Trundle start building like a big wave. The problem is that right now Varus's wave clear on his own is really obnoxious, so you sort of need support to get pushed in this lane at this point. Support rotates for this scuttle, and now theoretically, like if these guys are playing it a bit better, you can look for a window to collapse as 3, and then Varus can rotate first. So going for that pixel I like in theory because it's you get, okay, sorry, I'm trying to phrase this better. Because you're looking to secure scuttle, kind of like on a cheat, but then they don't get the scuttle. So that sucks. But more importantly, they're not setting up for a play that they can use Yasuo and Diana combo on around bot lane. So, and now MCX have a timer to either force Yasuo back or look for vision. So now the other byproduct though is that getting this wave in, if we want to now rotate top for Rift Herald on bot side, this window probably isn't big enough for Kalista to rotate with Trundle because you are only crashing a regular wave. I just don't think you can contest this as MCX anymore. You have Yasuo, Diana, Trundle, Renekton, all stronger champions on this one, on this timing. You need to have Varus there first to get some semblance of poke, but then you just engage on the Varus. I do not know what Silas is maxing. Maybe we can see. Looks like Silas did not show up on the game screen this entire time. Can probably figure it out if we pay attention, though. I feel like we're not getting a lot out of the windows and timings that MCX could have. So it's not like PSG are playing them at like super proficiently, but we're also just not, the windows that they're giving MCX are not being used. So I feel like at this point it's really hard already for MCX to play the game. Max Q. I don't know, because we only get to see the autocroc. Uh. Yeah, the W was kind of sus, so I didn't see the Q, but W looked pretty weak, not gonna lie. I'm assuming most Silas's are going Qmax right now. On this patch, it's 11.15. But even if he did, he'd be banned from Pro. So the reason why I think at this point it's already difficult for PSG to play the game, pretty convincingly, Yasuo's going to win sides. Nar doesn't really scale that well in side lanes. Like, he scales well in fights, but his itemization is weird, so it's hard to win side lanes versus Renekton's Nar. So your main tools to get Varus into a position where he can poke without getting engaged on are limited. Plus you have Alistar as your primary disengage. Once Yasuo already has executioners, so once he gets to like one item, I think it's pretty hard for Silas. Yeah, hard for MCX to play. Sorry about that. Depends on how well PSG can trigger pull in situations. You basically just have to engage right away. When, like, taking into account Nar being mini and playing around that cooldown. Also, Alistar disengage can be kind of annoying for Yasuo Kalista, so, like, those are the primary things you're looking at that will be frustrating for you, but general, as long as you're targeting Varus, game should go pretty well. I think the W, but I wouldn't go W max if Yasuo is coming back with like a big fucking executioner, so I don't think it does anything. And the main goal is gonna be like playing for wave, which you can do with Q max a lot better. Well, I'm assuming MCX just slowly lose the game, just like they slowly lost the early game, but we'll see. Q's into W is good to be able to get backline damage and one-shot the backline. So, like, I understand the logic that you're not going to trade Q on Yasuo, but if you have a wave. But the thing is that if you're clearing wave and engaging on Yasuo with E, so you're looking for windows where, like, basically he gets the wave in or you get the wave in, and then you're looking to fight on gaps in the wave. And then I think Q damage matters, because if you're engaging with E, it's good. I don't know if that was a clear explanation. Then it's harder for Yasuo to just slippy slide. I think this matchup sucks for Sylas in general, though. I know that's like kind of debatable, but I don't like this matchup for Sylas. So, but that's how you would play it. And I think if he comes back with Executioner's Rush, you can win trades more, right? But not by maxing W, in my opinion. So, because he's delaying like good itemization, so you're not going to get one shot as much. Nice. Who thinks this isn't a terrible matchup for Sylas? I'm not gonna name names. We're not gonna shame people here, but definitely some players I've talked to recently. Yeah, I mean, obviously Leisha just, you can engage onto her more easily if he uses E. He's forced into a position where he wants to trade one-shot you. I like how we're just talking about Lucian versus Sylas matchups instead of watching the game, but... Yeah, that's not even the argument that's being made, is that it's a playable top. I think what happens is that in like amateur academy, solo queue and NA, etc., a lot of the skill gaps are so large that players end up getting really skewed views of matchups where they feel like they can like reliably land E and then outplay early in the wave, more or less. All right, well. So I think I have a pretty decent understanding of how PSG got away with playing this comp. Maybe we go back and look at the dive, because I was only half paying attention. So they wrote, this isn't the dive, but they rotated out for this. This is leading into the play. Renekton's rotating down. Molnar's pushing. Oh, no, that wave is so sad. APA Silas could be Kran's Yasuo. So they use their full combo on Gemini. Now there's like a clear window for an RTP or engage. I think what happens is Koala played this pretty well. They both burn flashes, also engages, and Turtle gets forced off, isolated, and killed. Alright, cool. But the issue there is, again, like, whenever you're full rotating mid like this, the thoughtfulness of enemy bot is if you see your enemy bot lane like full rotating mid and you're not matching, then you're in a position where you can slow push stack this wave so that when your mid jungle come back out on lane, you have a window to dive bot. And he didn't really slow stack, he just kind of killed it. But that's why there's kind of like a debate as to whether or not it's better to fast push or slow stack in a situation where your enemy bot is full rotating, because you can probably guaranteed deny them a full wave, right, if you fast push it. But if you're setting up like a slow stack and you have TPs on mid, then there's a chance that you just set up a near guaranteed dive play on the next window if they're not recalling. So it kind of also depends on whether or not you think Bars will start recall after. Instead, we're just fast pushing and straight on diving anyway, so it's all good. That was a pretty good play by, is it Henian? Fortunately, he just did not have the damage. Yeah, and you can threaten, right? Like if you slow stack and you build it up, you have mid roam coming back out of base. Like let's say, because it will take you like 30 seconds to a minute, depending on wave position, to slow stack and then get the next crash off after the play. So that should give enough time for your mid laner to get a wave mid and for your mid jungle to roam back down on slow stack. You crash, you threaten plates, you get deep vision, and you zone them off of the bigger wave, right? So that would be the better play, in my opinion, even if you don't get the dive off. But that's why I like to try to argue with players. It's like if they rotate mid, you don't have to fast push. You can set up a slow stack to give your team a trade play after they lose the mid fight. Like if you can't rotate to join as Kalista in that situation, you can set up the wave to create a trade play because you have such huge dive threat with Yasuo, Diana, Kalista. And plan dive, fuck my if you fast push and plan to match move, it's good. If you plan to dive slow push, it's good. Yeah, I mean that's the main goal, right? Is that you're having your players make a plan off of whatever you're doing rather than mindlessly hitting wave, I think is what you're saying. But yes, that is always the goal. Yeah, you can fast push a full wave and freeze, but why would you do that when you can dive the motherfuckers? Or threaten dive on the motherfuckers and deny, like, guaranteed deny full stacked waves and get kills. Concept of X doesn't... How do you know Concept of X doesn't plan your queue? Come on. Don't be rude. Kills plus more denial plus jungle camps? Sign me up for dives every fucking time. God damn it. This is no longer a PG-13 VOD review. I've used the F word too many times. So yeah, in the interest of time, my summary from this is that basically MCX used 0 windows to do anything. Except for the mid play, right? Most of the windows that they had that were actually useful were pre-level 6. So now, let's go on and talk a little bit more about some of the differences in these VODs. So apparently the meme is that they always lose when Maple is playing like Karma or utility champs. Kind of curious to see, because the goal seems to be to snowball Maple. I kind of want to see the TF game. Let's see, is the draft worth watching? There's the solution. These PCS teams just love their Viego Gwen top. Yeah, I think this is fine to watch. They always lost 5 games. I assume this is a long-standing meme. Especially since the only real quote-unquote utility champ that I see them playing is Karma. But apparently there was a meme on the finals that Maple was just threatening to pick Karma every game. So the grand finals, so after this series. So let us look at the draft order here. Okay, so they picked Viego and the Gwen, which I think is good. On this match, the top matchup should be a lot more Viego favored early. So it's both like nerfed Q range plus nerfed E attack speed. Lee Sin, Diana. So they're going for multiple lands of Cryo with Diana, which I think is good. Jin can't really do much, especially not pre-first back versus Forest Blade player. And then they're blinding Leona. So this should, if you're counterpicking support, yeah, they only banned Alistar. This should guarantee you strong support matchup. And then they blind top. So they just kind of are trying to, I think their BYG are intentionally trying to play around bot sides, so. I think maybe they were anticipating the TF pick because they picked Gwen. I'm guessing they see Gwen as kind of a counter dive champ where it's hard to dive her. Not necessarily the TF, but the top dive formula at least. On they were probably at least assuming that there would be a dive set up top with blinding top and not showing mid or jungle, right? So that with the enemy team not showing mid or jungle, so they're assuming that there would be an easy dive setup already in play. So that's why they went for Gwen as a counter dive, assuming that, you know, Gwen W is most broken ability in the game. Wait, is my stream still playing? Yeah, it is. Okay. That was just a very long loading screen. What's happening? Okay. Get the rooms. Nothing too weird. The return of Air Illusion. You're looking for Listmania day more than plans. I'm kind of down for Listmania. I think it'll be fun. We already did a list. We did a play and power ranking. Okay. Listmania is I just list all the things. Top players, top teams, etc. Miracu's terrible build idea power ranking. Top mascots, there you go. I will not rank logos because I refuse to do that. Nice old logo. I'm still really upset about BYG having orange instead of red on their logo. Anyway, I should probably be paying attention to this game. So, oh, they picked Braum. Why would you pick? And I understand picking Braum, okay? Like, theoretically. Braum is really good. You have multiple auto attack base champs on both sides. But if you're setting up to play with a 2 Power Lanes bot based on your draft priority, just saying. Though there is a window to play versus Jin Leona, which after Varus hits level 2, you can start fighting. Because at that point you have pretty decent threat with Hellblade's Varus. It's just a Varus level 1 is dog shit. So it looks like Unified did take kind of a shit trade, so yeah. So even though theoretically, because of Varus level 1, Jin Leona should get prio. And once both sides are level 2, before Leona hits level 3, that's when you can do an engage. And that looks like it's exactly what happened. See, based on... Yeah, oh, it was actually on my screen, so whatever. It's fine. There's not a whole lot Kylie can do until she has W, E, and Q for all in. Topside, as finally the things that I say about a top lane matchup in PCS come true. Thank God. I just want to say top lane is a wasteland in PCS. It is absolutely the most terrifying place. Whenever I talk about top lane matchups in PCS, I was like, well, this is gonna happen. And then something else is happening. Like the Gnar Renekton situation last game was so bizarre to me. It's like, just hit him in the face! I think Hanabi is generally okay. So. Okay, everyone's TPing bot lane. If you're not all TPing bot lane, are you really playing League of Legends? So, basically Maple gives wave. Unified is low. See, I wouldn't see this as like a super good stack dive window. You definitely need 4 to pull this off. If you just try to dive as 3, you're losing for sure. And then TF shows up to make it a 1-for-1, but the wave is really bad for him mid. So I'm pretty sure Lucian and BYG take that. This is definitely a C9 dive. Just throwing that out there. This is what we would refer to as a C9 dive. Though I think it's like worse than a C9 dive because at least in C9 dives, the lane on which you're diving makes sense. As opposed to that one where it's like, I don't know if I'd allocate the resources to do this dive versus Jin Leona. It doesn't seem good. In the case of a C9 dive, it just needs to be set up better and look like it's actually pre-planned rather than, oh, this guy's diveable on this one wave that I pushed. Let's go. That's more of a C9 dive. See, this is arguably more of a C9 dive. So you just have no wave, but you have a timer from mid, so. And it's also like a little bit better executed than a C9 dive because you're going into jungle first and zoning them off the wave, so. When you have to spend like 2 streams defining your terminology, it's probably bad terminology. But I just like calling things C9 dives. Okay. So I think that we could talk again about how like this kind of exchange Because it does feel like in at least a basic level, after there's a play like this, PSG is immediately thinking about what their next move on the map is. So if enemy team gets a window, PSG are way more thoughtful about what to do on the window that they're getting as a result of, okay, we have the next play, right? Almost like a turn-based card game. Jin is going to have a tempo and prio here, so can we make a play off of that? I'm going to be first to lane, so Jin's going to be able to get this wave more or less for free, because he has enough AD to clear the wave more or less whenever he wants. We can go mid first with support and make sure that TF gets this window, walk into jungle. And we have a play set up already. So this is definitely something that they were thinking about thoughtfully out of base, based on the fact that Jin would get to bot lane first. Peter just called out like that. I mean, the thing is that I think Peter's terminology was relatively easy to explain. It's just the fact that no one knew knew what it was, and I hadn't listened to the explanation to be able to define it was the problem. So now let's see what BYG do on their timer, because they're first from bot. And they say, we want a dragon. One team wants a dive, one team wants a dragon. You immediately know which team I prefer here. So maybe Hatching was the friends we made along the way. So let's see, what else could BYG have done with this window? So based on top TP, actually not a significant amount, but they could have maybe looked for a fast play on mid with Forest Braum timer. Because they know that they're way ahead of bot recalls. So the only one who can be there is Lee Sin. Yep. Okay, now we're rotating top to actually do something with our top lane winning. Just Hanabi casually gapping Leon like this. But like we talked about, it's really hard to dive a Gwen. So the fact that Hanabi is like casually winning the lane means that we can look for invades. And then with that type of situation, what you're doing is you're going to posture like really aggressively in jungle. You know, Hanabi always has a timer, and TF can come first with port up. So basically, when TF port is up and Canoe is coming in, you're always looking to do something as a sideline or as a jungle to be somewhat volatile, because you know that your mid laner can always have numbers advantage. It's just like there in your back pocket. So timer from top. We know that both bot laners are showing bot. Just pull Rift. Looking for TF to be able to port Insta as well. And this Reptile's gone by the time any BYG can react. So BYG had spun looking for kills or fights. It looks like PSG are not getting the eye though. Or they just go back in for it. I'm down with that. Guys, Rift Herald loses games. So, how could PSG have done this better? I think I'm fine with Lee Sin just playing like this. Trying to see if Kino read this. Because Kino starts roaming right away. Oh, it is warded. Okay, never mind then. So Kino starts roaming more or less right away. The problem with Kino warding more or less right away is that if Leona stays bot and engages on Varus, it's pretty bad. TF can't walk through river like this, so TF has to walk a long way around after catching wave low. But TF can also catch wave low and then just like port. Is Gwen low enough that you could have dove her maybe? So that may also be an option. Gwen low enough that you can just force port TF dive and not pull rift. And then you have a better chance of winning the fight. I like the BYG's trigger pull here because they know bot is rotating late, so they just immediately take the fight. Lee Sin and Viego got super impatient to pick up the rift. I think maybe if it was just Viego walking back for the rift and then Lee Sin didn't even get close, right? Then that goes a lot better too, you know? It can just be small alterations like that, but in general, as most coaches would look at, okay, what are big picture plans and logical steps that we can take instead? But it's like, oh, okay, we know that this Braum is, if we know that this Braum is insta-rotating, we can't allow this Braum to do that, so we're going to engage on the Varus. That's a better plan. We are going to think of how we can use TF part creatively, either using Rift as a bait or by trying to get Gwen low to force her off, even if she's not like immediately down. So these are the types of things that you should be thinking about rather than, oh, it should have just been Viego going for Rift. Because those are more about the thought process and the logical steps that are taken, and those are the things that you need to coach and train, right? Okay, so from this window, both bot laners should have enough items to just instant clear waves and prevent dives. So I think it's also really hard to play for Gwen. So I think you need to be playing for jungle invades off of side lane prio and getting timers from TF. You want to skirmish other jungle camps or fight neutrals? In terms of Drake's setup, I think Kanavi is getting this wave in really, really late if I want to contest this properly. And the top laner has TP though, so no one's going to join the fight. If they don't have numbers advantage by rotating Hanabi down on a better wave state, then I feel like PSG should just lose this. Especially if they're full on engaging like this, right? should be a loss for them, versus like Lucian Diana. If it's like a full-on 5v5 and you're diving into like Diana Braum comp, you're probably gonna lose with PSG's comp. But they just took this fight really long, so I was talking about this. And BYG also don't have to be too scared of just pulling Drake. It's the only poke is Jhin ult. So they're a bit scared of like Leona. They're afraid of picks, right? They're afraid of TF port getting someone isolated. Jhin snare and setup. And they're afraid of getting outranged. So this situation, like chasing Unified like this is really scary. So it's like, yes, if we get onto him, we can kill him, but if we split ranks, cut like Husha at any point could just flash kill, but also made a mistake. Once the favorable fight goes well, cooldowns are burnt. You just recall, no one's going to pull the Drake, and go back to Drake, pull the Drake, force them to try to take the fight again. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't saying it was sketch because there was like a 1 HP Jhin. And Jhin could definitely outplay that situation, but I would favor Diana with Flash every time. It's just that unless Diana's like insta-flashing on them, you know River's still alive. Or not River on... Yes. River, actually. Wow, I'm trolling. Hanabi came here on timer. Really late, so this chase just ends up going bad off of that. So now Hanabi is just really ahead. I think that at this point, it's worth threatening dive on Gwen with multiple numbers. Goal should be to get this top 2-1. And then Hanabi can have really long timers. To fight around mid, to do whatever. I'm pretty sure BYG win this game. But it should be over favorably, unless they're like face checking into 5 and Diego gets insta one shot by Braum CC, followed by Lush Diana. So I'm kind of expecting that that's what happens. Is that Hanabi just starts inting. Is that do on the tier list? So, you guys have full-on vision set up top. I just want to point this out. Full-on vision set up top. Where do you think Lee Sin and Leona are? If you have this. Oh my god. It's so bad. Both teams were planning the same kind of play at the same time, which is funny. So, in this case, right, theoretically, that was PSG's timing to play on their strong side, which was top. Or, actually, no, I misspoke. Basically, it was PSG's timing to take topside, is what is happening here. However, BYG has a ton of vision top, so they know that they're not top, they know they're bot. So BYG go for this force, knowing that PSG will probably match, but they'll be kind of matching slightly off tempo, though Hanabi did get timer. But they're fine, apparently just continuing to sack Liang anyway. Now, because PSG made this play off of Hanabi's timer, they still have strong side control, so they still have a window to take top side. Because PSG have to kill the wave. This is now on PSG to kill the wave. They should kill the wave beforehand, coming out on this map. Then there's no wave to play off top. But they should also be behind on the play. Yeah. So they did address, BYG did address the top wave, and then they also had a better wave to play on in bot. So PSG still stay ahead in tempo off of that play. And now, so PSG still aren't retaking top. This is interesting. They're playing all 3 lanes here. So, because you're Jin though, you could just insta-clear mid-wave. So even though you have both sides showing, TF has to be a little scared, but let me see. Like, I would assume here, TF would have to be a little bit scared to push a wave top. Diana's not really showing on mid. We should stop. So Liana is recalling in top pixel. And TF's catching this wave just before reverse edge and not pushing another. So now this indicates to me that they're going to play to shadow Hanabi's side and take bot, which I think is correct on this window. I don't think TF should do anything about that wave. Theoretically, it didn't get in, so maybe Morgan can, or not Morgan, wow. Maybe Mowen can freeze one rotation, but you want to play for shop type bot side shallow vision. I'm assuming this rift is expiring. No, it wasn't at all. So I don't really like this rift timer. Because I think here you just get the wave and you walk in with numbers as soon as Lucian shows top. You get bot side shallow vision. And I mean, you don't really want to threat mid here. You want to save rift if you can for Drake spawn in a minute and a half. Instead, they just push it like this. This is what they use their TF window for. Why? That is what I want to know. Why? Why, friends? Why would you do that? Well, I think the one out of base in this game was pretty good after BYG's bot dive. Ah, maybe it's coffee time after this game. It might be coffee time. Okay, so I don't know. They're really, really slow when it comes to setting up top wave for before Drake. Like TF should just insta-kill these two waves, but he's afraid because of Lucian Diana, which means that there should be someone on this side of the map with him and recalling. Wait, so let's see. They drop Rift here. TF needs to start rotating for top wave. Like, TF should be... I don't know if it matters too much that TF is first on this top wave. Like, Lucian getting this one top wave is kind of early. But he is slow pushing it, which is really good, actually. This is pretty good from Maoan. I would say maybe he pushed one wave too early when he had his free setup for slow push. But that's fine. He was like 15 seconds off, you know, it's not a big deal. Whereas TF could have been on the wave earlier with other people, especially since they dropped Rift. They could have set support into topside with TF early so that they could force Lucian off of the slow stacking wave. And then TF gets the wave first. The wave is being pushed past River already like 5 seconds ago. Then TF can rotate down. But they're happy, I think, to use the threat of TF port. The big thing here is that it's really easy for BYG to just get this wave and walk into River now before TF can use port and before and zone whoever's in River out of River, who is ironically also named River. Ha! As I said it was happening. So now TF... What? TF TP'd? I guess. TF TP'd imported, but I mean, they're all grouped. You don't want to port into this. It's not going to go well for you. Again, like, BYG should just pull Baron, pull Dragon. There's not a lot of threat as long as they're grouped. So we need to see what Hanabi is doing again. So this is what I'm talking about with Nabi just like walking into them and insta dying. Yeah, that was the prediction that I made, and look at it, it happened on my screen. Okay, big plays from Husha. Hello? Are PSG good? I like their early plays in the last two games that we've done. Like, it seems like they use early timings better. But I, in general, like BYG more so far. In fairness, we're watching a game where BYG is one, and the other game we watched so far in the PSG review was like a gigantic stop. So there's that. PSG. Paris Saint-Germain. Messi wouldn't like Hanabi. Wouldn't like Hanabi. True. I like how BYG's answer to TF is just group. That's my favorite thing. But they're technically playing 2 lanes. Just away from the TF part. And they are sieging 2 turrets at once against the TF comp as well, so that's good with the lower wave clear. Now there is no wave mid. They are just grouped, threatening dive. Imagine playing Jhin into Gwen Braum. How painful is life? How much do you want? So, like, imagine at the end of the game, people are saying, like, Doggo should be on PSG or something. Then as Unified, you're sitting there going, why? For the love of God, why? Why are you so mean to me? I did end up rating C9 over BYG. In my minor, in my play team power ranking. I don't know if that answers your question, HBOG YouTube. Okay. Baron's gone. Next strike is up. PSG actually have wave set up top, but BYG are still contesting midway first, getting into Dragon, and able to pull it with almost entirely no threat. So does Hanabi int again? This is the question. The answer is no, but probably doesn't matter since now they have Infernal. So in that case, I kind of want Hanabi to int. I want someone to int. I want someone to do something. Where does the 3rd slot go to if NA does poorly, though? That's my real question. Does it go to another minor region 2? So they have 2 slots? Does it go to Europe? Do Europe, China, and Korea all get 4 slots? Fifth slot to the winning region. Oh god. Would not want to see W at Worlds. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That would be a disaster. Worse than if LGD. G2 wouldn't be so bad. Right? But yeah, that's about it. I don't think Africa would be great either. From what I saw them doing the VOD reviews. Chat, can you bully Peter into doing the Mad Lions VOD review with me tomorrow? I think that would be entertaining. So you're just gonna opt out. Would rather watch. I'm assuming Peter wouldn't want to do the Mad Lions VOD review because he knows those players and coaches well. Just like it's kind of awkward for me to VOD review certain games because of that. That's also why I'd invite Peter specifically for Mad. It's quality content. Alright, well. Hanabi may have entered the game at the 3rd Drake, but in general, it was doomed after that. So, main takeaways for me on this game is, again, like, better use of early game windows from PSG. I think that PSG's Dragon setup's really lazy, and they don't know how to deal with, they don't know how to, seem to know how to play, like, winning sideline comps well, in order to break up, like, their timers are not good for breaking up, like, groups, right? They just kind of, unironically, North America counters PSG. That is what I would say based off of this game, right? Do we go for like a J team game? To break up the monotony, we'll pick a game and we'll have it load while I'm making coffee so that we're not wasting time, right? It's efficiency. Okay, so they picked Yasuo, Zoe versus Rise, Yasuo, Diana. Maybe not another Yasuo Diana game. I kind of want to see them play this. Because it looks bad. I want to see... Okay, we'll watch them play a poke comp. I'm assuming that when they play this... I'm assuming this is going to be an issue of J-Team, like, not using agency. Because they should have good lanes. They do have Bard into Rakan, though. Where would I rate an A and LCS? PSG? Oh, okay. Well, as we've said, PSG... So I would say the most Nayrami team going to Worlds from NNA right now is actually 100 Thieves. Like, unironically, it's 100 Thieves. So J-Team would clearly lose, or PSG would lose to 100 Thieves. I'm kidding. I'm not finishing the VOD review yet, so I'm not going to make sweeping judgments until the end. I'm just making kind of like hypothesis judgments based on the games we've seen so far. Oh, game's loading already. Maybe we swap quality and see if YouTube decides to fight me on it. Nope, we're good. We're fine. YouTube's behaving today. Alright, you're back, chat. What are we talking about? Are you torturing people with your builds again, Miraku? I have not done my pick'ems yet because I haven't finished my VOD reviews yet. Pick'ems will probably be part of List Mania. So, anything list related. I can indeed read chat. I was AFK for a sec making coffee. I'm still waiting for my water to boil. But we can look at draft while my water is boiling. My planned power rankings. I'm gonna post the VOD in a bit. I didn't want to post the list without the VOD because then people would just say, meh. But the Twitch stream that I did with Emily on playing team power ranking and the draft review or whatever. That, you know, thingy. Okay, my water's done. One sec. Yeah, the Twitch bot is on the stream. That was the one we did on Wednesday. So 2 days ago. I have my play in power ranking and Emily's play in power ranking on the one. This coffee. Okay. This is coffee from yesterday. Alright. PSG J team. First pick to Zhao. Shocking. Rise, Var's early pick. So looking for... My assumption is that with these two picks, you can easily set up a bot dive in a lot of matchups because Rise will just get corrupting pot start and be able to EQ, to be able to spam first 3 waves in a lot of matchups. There are obviously matchups where that's not reliable. I would say that I don't know what comes up when you search Kelsey Moser on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have lost subscribers for posting these full Twitch VODs. I just want people who asked for the YouTube uploads to know that they're appreciated, since I don't think people like that content in general. Let's see. My brain is just not functioning right now. Okay, so they go Varus and PSG counters with Poke. So I like Ezreal into Varus, but these are also direct lane matchups, so they decided to go the Poke comp angle almost entirely off of this. Zoe actually can get pro early, but that doesn't last very long at all. Basically, as soon as you have a reliable monopool, it's actually a lot harder for Zoe to compete with the wave player. And the threat on Zoe, because she's kind of an immobile champ, really sucks if you have a decent jungler. So I would say they win the TV2, which means that this is not that great of a matchup for Zoe, but definitely winnable. Ezreal into Varus is an oldie but goodie. You lose lane with scale, and then they're banning Leona and blinding Rakan, so this matchup's really interesting. It's pretty easy to get Mercs as Rakan and still beat Leona, but like Rakan wins early, but Leona gets enough damage that her combo can one-shot you, so it's very, very like a Mercs reliant matchup. So depending on enemy team comps, because often Mercs aren't always the highest value item right now, can be useful to go with that. I would say like here, if I'm looking for Leona, like it's Ryze or Khan, that would be a useful like Mercs Leona angle. But also looking at the rest, like I'm not necessarily it's not enough yet. It could be enough though. So then we've got Ornn picked and Bard. So Bard and Rakan is good matchup for Bard. I'm expecting Bard to use like a lot of windows off of this. Bard also is faster on the map. Or top lane. And then the Gwen matchup, like pretty free versus tanks. You get a lot of control off of that. So even though I would say Gwen's landing's not great, like players have a bad tendency to overreact when champions are nerfed. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of all of the Gwens and Viego's tops in PCS, I think that they're underplayed other regions, so it's okay. But I think LPL has a decent appreciation for them, except the situation which they pick. Like Gwen Viego is usually like, we're first picking Viego and flexing it top. No, to the point where LNG does it all the time and you just know it's top. They're not going to play a jungle. They're going to play a top. Yeah. Is that on my channel, or I think that was on like the Chinese League of Legends, the Chinese LoL channel. Look, it's Pirate and Clement, the classics. My God, watching Clement cast in the middle of the night in his apartment is just like such a throwback for me. Obviously, it's not the same apartment, but really, really similar vibes. Or not Clement, Pyra, not Clement, Pyra. Because Pyra was the one who's in the middle of the night, and he's the one that I saw him do that. 2014, what a good year. Some days I miss 2014. Okay. In terms of early plays that can be made, I'm expecting a mid play. If Zoe doesn't let E, then it's just free as fuck for JT. I'm actually not too sure. It's gotten to the point where I think bot is now my worst matchup understanding. It wasn't like that last year, but I've just been focused so much on like top jungle this year that I think bot has become probably my worst. I think because Ezreal level 1 is strong, and Varus wave clear isn't immediately good, that they should get prio in this lane. Ezreal Bard. And then Bard should get first roam for mid, so that could affect 2v2 mid plans. Oh, are we going for a little Rakan cheese action? A little alcove gaming? Well, either they're wrong or I'm wrong, so hard to say. It is Hail of Blades for us, so there is that. So you could get stronger auto trades, but like if Rakan is walking up like this, I feel like you just free damage. No? Any disagrees? Like you just have to have your confidence in your ability to outplay the W. What are we talking about with Essence Reaver Aphelios? Basically what I'm saying is that Unified and Kaiwing are weak in mentally by not auto-attacking Rakan. Because they're afraid of W. Alright. I didn't mean that, I'm taking it back. Mission is supposed to be the mid laner who's like really good in this region, right? That is what I've heard. Oh no. I thought for sure that would just be a snare and a chunk of Helios, but no. Just letting him ward like that. We're just letting him ward like that! Did they think maybe Lee Sin was in river? Maybe. That's the only reason that would be allowed. Meanwhile, Hanabi playing Ornn. Oh, we were interested in the mid-matchup, right? I was curious what happens. So I do not trust PCS to tell me how lane should go. Most part. Okay, so Zoe got first wave in. Did it not? Yeah, she got first crouch on cannon. Oh, actually, pre-cannon. Cannon wave's not quite in yet. And now Rise is like, yes, thank you very much. I get level 3 off of that, and I can trade you. So my jungle gets prio for Scuttle. I wonder if so they're just gonna see River here, which means that Lee Sin can double Scuttle if he's tracking camps. Because he knows, well, even if he's not tracking camps, because Scuttle just spawned, right? So there's no way Sin would have time to get Scuttle and walk all the way down here. So if I'm Lee Sin, I also can do this a bit leisurely, right? If I know Zin is gonna like recall. I think it's worth this to skip Grump for now, and then get top Scuttle, and then go back for Blue Grump, even if you're delaying your recall. Because it's not like your enemy bot has prio, it's not like you're gonna get invaded or punished. You just fucking run to that Scuttle crap, man. Your Gwen's winning the lane. Rise can push this out and TP back. It looks nice. Looks nice to me. Oh, lane went the right way. I feel like for the most part in LPL it goes the way I expect. Unless it's Ala versus a random. Then the random loses, for sure. By a random I mean Breathe. My god, does Navi just die here? I mean, I just flash for this, right? No? Okay. Ah, it's so hot. This is, why we use handles on our coffee. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I'm still looking for the 2v2 mid, but it's a 3v2 right now, so Bard is here first. This is what I said could impact the matchup. Is Rakan showing? I think Rakan's showing. I think he showed already. That would be my guess. The wave was pretty deep down the lane. I'm not sure though. Let me double check. Maybe not. How busted are the handles? Okay, we've got 3 going into bot and invading. Off of Rakan timer. I still wouldn't take this though. You're posturing around to Ezreal Bard as if this is something that might actually happen. We do get vision, so that's good. I think now we'll see if I feel like lane should just be Vara's favorite now. Like the early crash I could see going Ezreal Bard favored, but I think it should just be Vara's favorite now. Your wave clear is too good. What color to the skin would you want? So, at this point, alright, the game plan is focused a bit around Rift. We get this wave in, we have a really good timer as G team to rotate for Rift Herald. We already have Scuttle set up topside. We're looking for a dive or... Oh, we burn TP. I think even if we don't get the dive here, like the TP burn is enough. I think... Probably from my POV, it was better to just, as soon as you get the TP, disengage, go back mid, set up another window, and then play for Rift, because you're going to have your Rakan rotating first. You can even have Varus rotate with the Rakan, right? So I think that that's more of a guaranteed Rift play if you're burning TP top and can get another rotation mid than doing that, because as soon as we see this TP, it looks a little bit sketch. Like, Ornn lands knock up here. Should die, but he can get the... He can also potentially get a decent part of the wave. It's Cannon's dead already. You don't know where Lee Sin is? Or not Lee Sin's in. Zoe TP's top, so you're kind of flipping it. So in the end, PSG got the Rift Helm through fancy Ornn maneuvering. And Zoe has 2 kills, so this is just a classic PSG snowball angle, I guess. I say classic, having watched one VOD where they've done that so far. So. Classic. Instant classic. Snap judgments only. So now that TP's been invested topside, Orange still doesn't have play, but both top TPs are down. I feel like JT in this game actually are more mindful of when they're rotating for objectives, but they actually have better control of both Rift and Drake this game. So I'm assuming it's just like a hands diff, or when towers fall, they just stand mid and get poked, and that's it. Why is Ornn not meta in LPL? Because in LPL we kill everyone top lane and snowball. Unless you're EDG. Then I just assume Flandra is hipster and doesn't like Ornn. So I think he's played Ornn. Now we have Crossfire, the game is saved. I'm pretty sure that we've seen Frostfires purchased in the reviews already. Okay, that was nice. I like how everything is just golden. I was like a faux dive. I would say that the problem with this, right, is you're gonna go in, you know that the Bard ult's probably gonna follow. The more I watch that play, the more I hate it. So you're forced to use Bard ult because Zoe gets mispositioned, and then Rakan goes in. And both are kind of forced to flash out, so yeah, I don't know what the logic was there. For the Rakan follow-up. What's... Cho'Gath is probably viable, yeah. I think Cho'Gath mid is underplayed right now. Mostly because people don't like API itemization. Like, I think maybe the most annoying stuff for Cho'Gath mid was like Lucian sets, and that stuff is less popular now. I guess you can play Darius mid if you want, but... Who actually does that? Only rude people. Darius and Vayne are like the banes of my existence. As a Cho'Gath player. Oh, nice! Kaiwing, my dude. You just let yourself go. I swear to God. I remember thinking Kaiwing was like so good last couple years, and now he's just eh. Eh. This is not bad though. Little cheeky auto exchanges. But they were free there, right? Whereas like earlier, if you have to take some risk to do something or do it, and his reaction time was just really slow on several of his plays. So let's watch again. Hooray! Replays. Probably should have talked about how this play was set up, but right now I see it. That was nice. Kaiwing chasing hitting Hana. Why? Even if that guy's alive, wouldn't you rather use your ult for the other two? Okay. I mean, he also just took two tower shots. No reason, but he could have played with the auto. He should ult for tower, for sure. Like, then you can just chase and dive the other two and kill them. Like, even if that guy lives, it doesn't matter. You get, like, 2 kills for it. It's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. So there was a mid fight where JT couldn't get on them immediately. So one of the big problems is that they either need flank or Vars Rakan ult to get on to these poke chips. So they do have tools to deal with them, but I legit feel like JT is playing the map better in general. Like that was a better use of rifts than we saw in previous games. They're generally first locations on rotation, so they're controlling this. Lee Sin grading for these wolves is pretty sketch, but Hana, my dude, you're ruining your team's entire game. Stop. Oh, okay. If he doesn't recall this, it's fine. Then we can make this play on this map. I think maybe... So I think maybe the best play JD could have made was drop Rift and then immediately... just drop Rift and I think Overforce. Like if Ornn is there and burns Flash, I think maybe just stay on the map here and give Drake. So that's what I thought they were gonna do when they dropped this Rift. The problem is that there isn't a wave just now. So theoretically, like, PSG can almost already be on drag. But this is kind of, and then collapse if you're waiting for the next wave. But if you see Xin, like, hitting mid T1, then I think you just, like, camp in the jungle, wait for the next wave, see if Ornn walks up, and then try to make a play off of that. I think it's probably better, because you're going to be late to Drake anyway, and you don't want to face check into poke. I think it's pretty good, if they do that. They did get a Zoe kill out of the deal, so not bad. It's a little cheesy, but I think it's good because it's like theoretically it's counterable if Xin Bard rotate for Drake and then start pushing because you're recall behind. But you should have time because Rise was cheating the bot wave. But you should have time to then make recall and stall out the play after that. Especially if Vars is already mid. So I like the idea of like grading backs there and trying to cheese Ornn. So catching bot wave. This is the part where I narrate exactly what's happening on my screen and try to say it in a smart way. so that you don't realize that I'm not actually adding content to the scenario. Nice, nice. We like it. So now that Ezreal's getting mid-wave, we're ahead for PSG. Should completely take bot vision here. One wave ahead, but you can't really threaten rise. Your best bet is to use that wave timing to rotate mid and then stand on the wave and try to poke anyone who tries to contest mid-wave high off of it. Orange still has ulti, so main function of Ornn ult in this game, in my opinion, is to stall out pushes. Because Ornn will be against 2 champs at side lane better than him. And he's not really in a composition that wants to like hard engage for the most part. They want to stall time. So I sort of perceive Ornn's role in this game as having an ulti that clears. And then he has some ability to face check and provide vision if PSG are late to a fight. He can kind of walk in. It is a bit scary to walk into like Rise. But if you're Ornn and you get tanky enough, then it's fine. Your main job is not to kind of win the game. It's to just provide vision so that your team can poke them on objectives without them dying by having to walk in and face check. Oh, if Zoe kills Varus under tower? Sorry, I missed that question. I'm going to just assume you're correct. I'm not going to go back and look, but I wasn't thinking about that. I don't know the exact timestamp that you were referring to. I just assumed that most players in stage matches take, generally speaking, like most players in stage matches miss a lot of lethals. That's why I like LPL. They force a lot of shit. Concept of X one-shots with single abilities. Sorry, that was a throwback to yesterday's VOD review where I was like hella cranky about the concept of one shot for some reason. I was reflecting on it. It's like, now that I've had a little bit more sleep than I did yesterday, I'm just thinking, yeah, it's kind of cranky for no reason. So sorry to any of you if you're here and I was unreasonably cranky. Okay, let's just talk about this part. So I need to be ultra critical of like every Bartle now. So first thing, JT had the ability to control side. So this is something we talked a lot about PSG kind of WinCon and how they want to play with Ornn. But they have winning sides, both sides. And they don't win midsection, but they can either rotate to win through mid because they'll have numbers, or they can take fast plays inside lane. So Ornn is playing like super safe. He's hardly pushing. He's actually like losing some creeps because he's basically pushing 8 wave as it comes into his tower, and he's not venturing past river. But what you can do is wait for someone to catch bot and look for like some. So this is something that Fnatic do really well when we're talking about these VODs. When we're talking about these VODs, this is something that Fnatic does really well. Is if they don't necessarily get mid prio, Hillsong gets like a lot of what I call cheat vision. Cheat vision is like I'm walking into their strong side and I'm dropping wards, and it's like high risk, but I can be kind of smart about where I think they are, right? I could be a little smart about where I think they'd be, based on like communication with my jungle, like what camps are up, things like this. So I can make assumptions also that I can use Q, or I could use whatever abilities. I can maybe ask my jungle or something to come with me so that I can eat to him, whatever. So there's like some smart things that you could do to get like aggressive, like what I would call like cheat vision without doing that. And then you're setting up cheat vision so that when they get this play, right? Like they get this control, it's probably beneficial on this window for PSG to think about setting up Baron. They're not going to really threaten it, but they can think about setting up Baron. So the plan here from this point would be like based off of cheat vision, catching this mid wave low as far as like by catching mid wave low, I mean after they do. So you're not going to contest it like as it comes into mid, you're going to contest it more on your side. Then at that point, what you're trying to do is after that wave is cleared, because even though you're not going to get it immediately because you're afraid of poke, you're still going to be able to clear it fairly easily. And that's when you have like Rise or Khan going in and trying to make a play on whoever's catching the wave under tower here. So that's like kind of the fast plays from side that you can make if you are playing for if you have winning sides but don't win midsection and you want to play around sideline. The other option is that you will just push this wave in all the way as Gwen. Gwen will recall, and then you just have numbers and you play like 0-3-2. So you can face check this better. It's still kind of hard because of how much poke they have. So you need to wait for kind of Ezreal, Zoe to show on the wave, and then walk in like super aggro and force a play on a 0-3-2 lane. Anyway, that was a lot of explanation for a play that may or may not happen, but that's what I would communicate should be the plan, right? One of those should be like the plan for playing out this game. Especially since I think Rest is definitely overstaying top. He got his wave in a million years ago. Dragon's gonna be up. Like this is the window where JT wants to control the side because even though PSG can get mid prio, they don't have a lot of Baron threats we already talked about. So I think playing for Drake control is better here. Drake control and sideline plays. But we're just gonna so Bard no ulti. We're just gonna force on this river vision. Mid. And die. Okay, sick. Yeah, so definitely not a play that happened, but a play that I would suggest to J-Team if I was VOD reviewing this game with them after. Instead, they walk into topside river, around river when PSG have mid prio and get poked to shit, and I guess like Hanabi Ornn is just the most threatening champion with the most damage in the game, so all good. Yes, exactly, aside bottom. How fucking busted is Ornn? I was like, Ornn's probably just gonna wave clear inside lane. He doesn't really want to engage because he doesn't have a lot of good follow-up in terms of... No, he doesn't need follow-up. He just kills people. Cool. Ornn is just makes, also like when you play Ornn, he just has such satisfying noises that he makes, you know? Like you never regret picking Ornn in a game, even when you do terrible, which we're not going to talk about the last time I played League of Legends publicly in front of people, because that was really embarrassing, so. Nope, you're not gonna find it. It's dead. We're not talking about it. Okay, what happened is I accidentally locked in Orange Jungle with Airy. It was fucking bad. Oh my god. Because I was planning on picking Ivern. But I forget what we were spelling that required me to use an O in Champ Select, and then my boomer hands, I didn't switch to Ivern fast enough. And I was like, maybe we should remake. Nah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I have only regret. Anyway, back to this game. It depends on a few factors, right? Having a good split pushing side lane, I think, is nice. But so generally speaking, yes. But there are a couple of things that like a tank can provide, and this is a longer conversation, but I know we're not really talking about what's happening on the screen, so I'll pause. A splitting side laner, Group B and play-ins, yeah, Group B and play-ins is hella competitive. Group A and play-ins is funny. Group A and play-ins is like the top two teams, and kind of debatable. I actually have HLE in fourth. The Group A and play-ins is like strong teams versus the three bottom teams, and then Group B and play-ins is like all the middle section. So I think it's very possible that we get almost, it's very possible to me that we get like BYG or C9 eliminated, or both, but still think they're favorites. But Emily and I talked a lot about how we actually rate DFM, UOL, and Galatasaray like very similarly. So, and they're all in the same group together, plus with different strengths and weaknesses. Plus you have C9, and so there's a lot of really good discussion that can be had about, you know, how each team stacks up against each other, like their strengths and weaknesses, how you would prepare strategies against each team. That would be really fun if people actually found that interesting. Because it's a Group B of plans, so I don't know how many people care. How many, I should say, English speakers care. Like, for example, I bet all the Japanese LoL fans would find that content relatively interesting. Maybe not from me, but from someone else. All I want is for HLE to lose a game to Infinity Sports. Is it Infinity Sports now? I think it's like Gillette Infinity, whatever. Anyway, I should talk about this game. So, going back to what is happening on my screen. Yeah, but LLA is also not in that group. Okay, so this is like the side play you want, right? Just an engage on the Ornn. I think it's better to try to make a play for the Rise lane because it's harder to kill Ornn. You have to invest more resources into it. But Rest just like decides to kill the tower in his face and engage. Just good. Run, Hanabi, run! See, if Hanabi had waited for Woody, then that's a guaranteed play, right? Just stall out the craft, like call Rakan in advance, say like I'm gonna kill this turret, come mid and hover mid. That's a guaranteed kill. But that was not coordinated. Now they're waiting. Okay, now we get it. Now we get it. So this is like the kind of, okay, we've invested our resources. We have Rise rotation. So I would rather do it the other way around and then play for the Rise link because I think it's a lot easier play to make. But you see it here, right? Like, so instead of this, like then spending this time investing this spot vision, like drop all of your wards, just drop them, recall immediately, and then start pushing top. So after this play here, like do that, is what should happen. And then look, because Zoe's on this wave. We already see Zoe on this wave. Recall, go top, start setting up and contesting that vision with numbers because this wave will come in and Ornn will have to push it, right? So, but Rest has to get this wave first. But Rise and Rakan and Lee Sin, like on this Rakan recall, can already be headed for top. Like, they can be coming out of base now, maybe even a little bit earlier. Maybe they can be around, like, top T1 right now. Grass gets this turn in. The expectation is going to be someone comes bot to catch this, probably Ornn, which is, like, the biggest threat to any face checking that they do. Because they have flashes, Rise and Woody. So that means that if you walk in here and someone's poking, so let's say you're waiting, like, as you're showing on this wave, you go into this jungle. Let's say you run into, like, Zin. You have 3 members, right? So that's already good. You see Zoe and Ezreal on the wave, so you're not going to run into poke. You can retake this top vision, and then you look for collapse onto Zoe, right? I think that that's the better play, because, like, forcing play on Ornn is shit, in my opinion. Especially since you're losing a window doing this, because you're creating a window by getting this bot wave in, and you're not playing on it well. So PSG, then we're back in the situation because we're behind on this rotation, where probably the best thing to do, need someone to catch on this top wave. We're catching mid wave low again, and now PSG have a window to kind of force, which is what they did last time. So every time PSG have a window, they want to poke mid enough such that the Ornn rotation comes up and can engage on whoever's in mid. And they want to wait for someone to, usually they want to wait for someone to be catching sideways, but they're fine taking like a numbers fight, or an even numbers fight too. As long as they get poked on first. Like this. So this is the difference in execution of the compositions. Most people would say it's easier to play PSG's comp. Because the windows and timings are less punishing. Look, Woody's trying to be Hillsong. I like it. So a couple other things. If you're support, you should always recall first and try to contest vision first. Normally, right, like the safest play is to wait for people to show on your bot side wards before you are invading top if you want to challenge top. So we see Ezreal, right, on this red ward. We see Xin also on this red ward, mid. So Woody feels like, oh, okay, I can come in here. Not really anticipating this many people, but like you could tell the cues that made him think playing aggressively for vision there was okay. And overall, like, he was fine. He got out without having to use flash. So he didn't get punished for it, and then that also gives his team information. Like, oh, okay, we know Ezreal is, we know where Sin is. They're all up here, they just took their own blue. So that gives us a window to decide kind of what we want to do. We get, like, some information. Don't have blues, so that's kind of scary. Like, we have a blue here on Varus after this play. So we know we have a blue here on Varus, and Zoe's showing top to catch the switch. So we either have a window to play like aggro for bots, which it doesn't seem that good here, or we can again use Gwen timer for top side. Which I think in this case is a bit better. Again, you have Ornn no timer. You're looking for like a fast play on the rise lane, if possible. And then once you get this top wave in, now we come back bot and try to retake. Again, I think PSG can pull Baron, but they don't have Insane Baron threat. So you should almost always have time to rotate and come at it. If they're standing on Baron and pulling it like this, right, then they're not setting up to like poke you when you walk in. So them pulling it, I think, is not that great from PSG. Especially since you could rotate here. So if JT wants to like all in, look for flank, have Rakan and Varus engage here, it's pretty good. Because they're just all on Baron. But they immediately pool when they see them, so that's good. But overall, this is like not a bad situation because JT's waves are prepped, right? I was expecting... Okay, so here, as soon as you see them turn, I think Gwen kills this wave mid. Gwen kills this wave mid, and then you disengage as JT, and you rotate to Drake. Because both your waves are not too bad for fighting Drake. But now that they've given up that window, JT wants to play for topside, catch this wave, and push out, and then retake Baron Vision, because that's the best thing that they can get on this time. I actually didn't watch much of the... Well, I actually don't even know anything about the 100 Thieves Academy versus TLA series today, because I was doing interviews pretty much from when I finished streaming until I went to bed. So I'm behind on my my Proving Grounds. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, 100A1. So grand finals would be 100A versus winner of IMTGG versus TLA. So Gamsu might become a Proving Grounds champ. That's an interesting thought. Okay. So I didn't watch the Baron setup at all. But I assume it was like a similar situation. You guys have flashes, except for Khan. It's kind of important that Khan has flash. But I think you have to just engage. Like, when they're huddled like this, they feel like they want to kill the Baron, right? Because it's so low. They're thinking, okay, we can kill the Baron, it's really low. So Zoe and Ezreal will keep hitting it, which means that this is like your best chance to engage fights. And if you can make them use Ornn ulti for peel, it's even better, right? So yeah, I don't have a lot to say. So I think it's interesting. Like one at the start of this year, actually, it was like really early in the season. I had a conversation with Clement about whether or not poke comps were easy to execute for bad teams, and I thought it was interesting. And I have a video on my YouTube channel about this conversation. Because this is not something that people typically think about. They think like hard engage comps are easier to execute. But here you have like a combination of hard engage poke. Because it just requires a certain amount of patience. So it really depends on your perspective. But this idea that if you're playing like a bad team versus a bad team, if you are just poking at them, the other team will not see the correct windows for engage, so you'll just get away with a lot of poke, which is kind of what I think we're watching in this game. All right, let us do another one. So, okay. Let's take a look at more of a 2v2 oriented game. Again, so we're back to the Beyond Gaming series, most likely. I want to see... So, looking at these... Do we want to see the Diana? We already watched this one. I think this was one with like really bad draft. So this is another poke comp one. We'll just watch that. But they lost this one. So this would be kind of interesting because they lost, which is similar to the game that they won. Here. So one thing that Clement pointed out is that they went from like these kind of like early skirmish comps to more scaling comps. So specifically like Cryo and Ornn and these poke jumps. So they went like full poke here. But this one has more of a 2v2, so maybe the last game is good to watch. We'll watch the last game. So, yeah, I think I've got a lot of ideas based on the VODs we've watched so far. Oh, PSG said it already? Is that their default, like, pub stomp identity is, like, play really, really heavy skirmish 2v2 and Snowball Maple. And then they... Versus teams that are closer to their level but still bad, they can just play poke comps and have more insurance. It's the scaling range escalation phenomenon, guys. Range escalation. Replying to a DM from lunch, one sec. Okay. Thanks for the follow. So we've had a couple follows today. Fooly Fooly, Sirox29, Mopsy. Nice, I like that one. And Shotgun Wedding. I like that one too. So thanks for the follows. We are doing PSG VOD review. Tomorrow we'll do Mad. I'm not sure if I'll ask Veteran to come on again or not, because last time he came on he was like really tired and that's probably the worst VOD review day we've had. We'll do and then we'll have Dam on. It's the last day. We have devolved into Overwatch League conversation on chat, so hope everyone is Overwatch League fans. So what I learned today is, does anyone like that Curry Shot was like a semi-successful Overwatch League coach? That's something I learned today, and that's all I'll say about that. Okay. Rise GP. So Rise Olaf. I don't like Rise Olaf as well. I think it's not bad, but I like kind of more follow-up CC for chaining. Running down is like less useful. I think versus Silas, Olaf is just so annoying for Silas that it doesn't matter. So Rise Olaf might be like the biggest nightmare. This is the thing that Silas thinks about in his cell when he's trying to hatch plans to escape. And lose his sleep is Rise Olaf. So, yeah. Israel Khan. So GP, Warren into GP is interesting. I know this is like another matchup that one of these opts into. Did they ban any tops on 4-5? No. So we could have gone, and Jace was already banned. Couple of options. None of them particularly good. I remember we had this conversation before about like what you can pick in a GP. I will point out that Aurelia exists, but you're not going to pick like another AD champ, probably. Oh no, you can because it's Silas. I'm okay with Silas being primary P damage as long as Silas gets fed, which your comp is already set up to kind of feed Silas, even though it's Silas into Rise, which sucks. Honestly, PSG just picked bad lanes. Straight up, like across the board. Should be hard for top to play, should be hard for mid to play. Olaf into Trundle though. I personally think that Olaf can play this matchup. Like, I feel like this is the matchup that no Olaf player wants to opt into. But, oh no, my headset died. It's fine, I'll just keep... Oh no, it didn't. We're good, I'm fine. Thank you. It just made a noise, so I thought it died. I wonder if I'm allowed to... So these are GBLs. They sponsor 100 Thieves, so I got these for free, which is nice. But I don't use them because they run out of battery too fast. But I think I left my earbuds in a coffee shop, so... That's life. That's life, guys. That's life. Anyway, random asides. Done with the tangents. Back to the game. Top in mid suck. Bot is playable. Oh no, it's Trundle support. It's in jungle. This matchup makes more sense. Still, I think way more Olaf favored. Still, a lot of people wouldn't want to play with a Trundle in the game as Olaf. But in terms of the Olaf Trundle jungle matchup, right? I think Olaf can clear faster. So he can get a level lead such that this matchup doesn't suck for him. So yeah, that's kind of how you strategize around that. Maybe we'll go faster on this one, so that we can maybe get another VOD in. Because mostly at this point, we have made a few hypotheses, and we're trying to confirm them. So this will also give us more information on BYG in terms of how they function with favorable lane matchups and soul lanes. And then Ezreal, like Rakan into Trundle is really nice. I feel like Ezreal Rakan into Trundle just makes Trundle feel useless as a support pick. But they showed the flex like really early. Okay, so yeah. Bar Trundle getting prio early is fine. GP getting prio early. So all the lanes are going as planned. All the lanes are going as planned. Okay. And we just swapped scuttles. So that's fine. Though both junglers did a full clear when there's a really nice juicy 2v2 midland look at around like 2:30 after 3 camps. And it's really good for Silas Zin to do that because Olaf doesn't really want to fight on that timer. He wants to keep clearing camps, so it's really nice for Zin to look mid, and we didn't see that from PSG, so I would say that probably PSG is a bit 2v2 minded, but they don't do like really early 2v2s. And it seems like they normally like to involve support. So I could see from that framework why Clement would call them like basically their flash wolves, because they involve support in a lot of their plays. But I think Kaiwing is hitting the sauce a bit, you know. He's getting a little So we are looking mid here. This is a good timing to look mid, right? We talk about this, I feel like every single stream. It's like when your versus Rise, TF, anything like that. Forcing mid on 5:30 is really nice to get priority to get level 6. So top is super volatile right now. Once they get cryo, if Silas hits level 6, like he can port top, right? So, like, if Orin feels safe, he can kind of bait a little bit. But I think he was too low. So it's interesting that BYG made, like, a top plate early, as opposed to going mid first. Because I guess, like, bot lane has control, but they also have control from top. So not that GP is what you want in a skirmish like versus Trundle. So I think they just realized that they lose the mid 3v3 because Rakan will rotate late. And then they went for fast play on top before Silas would have time to hit 6 first. Which is okay. I don't mind that. I get so bored about talking about heralds. Like, honestly, herald setups are almost never good or well thought out or planned. And it's like, oh, we're just gonna go to it and never have the space checking and we're gonna flip the fight. But in this case, I think like you're rotating first as PSG, almost guaranteed from bot. Where state top is even, there's no reason to contest this in BYG. Should not happen. As I was saying, we just wasted a horrific amount of time. And we killed them all. So, great. Love it. I don't know if it's LNG. But I like the way that LNG and EDG adapted throughout the series that I highlighted yesterday when we were talking about it to improve their Rift setups. I liked that. Like, I do think that it's weird. It's like they go into a series and they forget all about Rift Herald, and then over time it's like, oh yeah, we fucked that up. We probably should have played it better, and then they do it better the next game. LNG 3-0 angle. LNG is funny because they're almost never to objectives first. So you'd think they'd benefit from having more tanks in their drafts. Maybe that's why they blind Zach. Okay, shooting down. So they are identifying their one kind of like win con lane and snowballing it. So that's good. From PSG. Okay. BYG. See that Rise got, so this would be, okay, we have timer, we're on the map first, so normally you want to play around it, but they know that Rise is getting this wave in for free. So they're looking for like cheap vision and fast play and jungle again. So this is cute. And Ezreal is first on the wave, so they get another timer. And Rise doesn't even have to contest this wave, so PSG leaning mid here doesn't make any sense. I think if Rakan didn't base here and just went bot, then they can get really punished by going through mid here. Instead, Bias gets the wave solo versus Ezreal, and they get themselves another timer for mid when Silas can stall the wave. Oh, is this gonna be another tragedy at Rift Herald? BYG just giving wave spots so that they can rotate for this objective. That's kind of crazy. So this is cute because it's like they know that Ezreal is zoning through mid. So this is kind of what I'm talking about with like the fast plays. This time, however, because GB is pushed up, they're looking for more of an angle where Silas is just not going to be on the wave. They're going to be here and see if like GP overstays. Because it looked like GP was recalling. So this was different, a little bit different, but I like the fast play because it ended up pulling them off of the mid wave, so Varus should be the only one on this mid wave first. I guess Trundle joined kind of late. But yeah. So that was good. I liked that a lot from Maple. All right. Is this series just a disaster or? So we're in the first on the spot wave. Alright, is showing bot here. Orn has to catch, but Orn is out on recall. So Orn's going to get another timer immediately here. So we'll see if PSG succeed in kind of part engaging around the straight. So once again, Maple's probably hovering top like a little late, but I think we're at a point where BYG just don't want to phase check the spot. So I think ideally, right? Thank you for the follow, Amirsa59. Oh no. Can you hear me getting my spam call at 7:28 a.m.? Thank you, spam caller. I appreciate it. God damn it. Stop! Telemarketers! I hate them so much. I get like 15 spam calls a day, and I just don't answer my phone anymore. I'm good now. I'm good. Okay, as I was saying, yeah, Orn got the timer first, and they don't want to phase check the dragon, even though Maple's trying to look. So ideally, if I'm Maple here, I just wait until dragon is secured to make until I'm showing on the wave. And I show. So it's more or less secured, right? Very likely BYG already made the chance. So he's getting this wave here to give like an extra window. From here, because they're getting the wave in bot, PSG want to kind of rotate into the top side. And PSG investing all these resources to secure rifts and drop them in the most useless way possible. Okay, thanks. Not looking for like a T2 kill or anything, just drop it mid. Cool. Why are we always in dubstep land? Okay, now my headphones are dead. So, there's that. Okay, they are reclaiming pot side. The top side, the rotation is a bit late, but not bad overall. What I really want to see is how they're playing for mid-prio after this. Abject dog shittery. Thornmail. Not a fan of Thornmail second. Is that a problem for you? Wow. We're just, this is just a flame crime stream. Okay, so I gets the wave in, hovers. I don't like, this is the weird thing for me, because like Orn should not be getting control over GP. We're now at a point in the game where Now we're playing my... Cool. I want this to... There we go. We're fine now. We're good. Sorry about that. Music decided to go through my speakers because my batteries died in my earbuds. So there you go. Instead of dubstep, it's just it's had enough of my shit. So all right. Okay. PSG have just decided, so this is the thing that I don't get, right? Because theoretically, we're in a situation where BYG actually win all 3 lanes, okay? GP, Rise, Ezreal. I think that the goal differential at this point in the game is not significant enough for that to be problematic for them, right? We've got Divine Thunder, Miramana, Ezreal. We just completed first item for GP, and you know, like Rise versus Silas is a joke. So the main thing that I'm curious about here is how BYG are constantly behind them. And a lot of this comes down to like these rotations that we talked about. So we're gonna get a replay of this 1v1 where Maoan trolled. And then suddenly Silas got a ton of items. Like Maoan is still just like playing for the wave while Maple is fucking his shit up, which is really hilarious to me. Anyway, so yeah, it's interesting that PSG are just able to. I guess they just have better players, guys. GP had no business being here. Like, I don't know why he rotates like that. Like, he goes bot. This is the correct thing to do. They're just so terrified of losing Baron Vision that they're constantly giving Ornn a side window, which is really interesting. So Rise, we're still feeling the after effects of Rise like trolling on top wave, right? More or less. Now Rise feels scared to like walk up because he knows support jungle are all in his top side. Which GP did nothing about because GP didn't get a window for bot that Rise could rotate to. So they couldn't make a trade play. Now Rise is pushing this top wave like a little bit early. But it's not like GP has been in position for us to take bots the entire game, right? So Ezreal should be able to poke them off with bot wave, especially with Rise Timer. Mid wave, especially with Rise Timer, but they're playing this like really scared. And now we're in full-on 5v5 scenario, which is what, you know, Ornn and Silas wants. So, and then BYG just commit to and pull this Drake and get forced on in a group scenario. So, yay! Yay! PSG get to just run 5 mid and not get punished. Because BLG are just not aware of sideline timers. Hooray. This is how I feel right now. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Hooray, 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 hooray. Yeah, so mid-game is a train wreck. Guys, the shittium is back. The shittium is back. Trying to be positive. But it never ends well. Push up out all the way. Shittium is back. Return of the shittium. Oh, the Anakin Yuppie clip. The shittium never left. I tried to say nice things, okay? So now I see how PSG ended up being like the winning team, right? Even though I think in some instances like BYG and like even J Team had better understanding of like certain macro concepts. It's just it gets to mid game and no teams in this region really understand how to use Windows as a good sideline team comp. So it ends up just being run mid and fight. And PSG adapted their draft so that they could just run mid and fight and win those fights. So, cool. I'm down. Let's see, is there anything else I want to see? From these games. Is there any like really weird drafts that might be interesting or provide a different perspective? It's like a Galio Diana game. That's weird. This is scaling. Warren Renekton. Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser Renekton? What the fuck? Is this like a last place team? So, I think like specifically Clement selectively made me only watch some games from Boom Esports. It's part of one game from Boom Esports, just like selectively. Because I would assume that based on this draft that this is just like a for fun angle. Fiddle. They play a lot of normal shit. Like nothing's too. I think the weirdest thing they play is they seem to have like higher Zoe Prio. What a slogan, Grim Blooper. Crazy. The most interesting thing. I guess they played versus Seraphine thing. I don't know. I need to know how good these teams are before I become interested in the drafts. So Impunity was bad. It looks like Boom was not that bad. So maybe we'll close off watching the early game of the weird Boom Esports team comp. So this one is Mordekaiser Renekton. So this looks so strange. I think Mordekaiser versus Wukong makes sense. Victor versus Renekton. So I could kind of see how this draft played out, but synergistically it looks really weird. You have Nidalee, like I guess Nidalee Renekton just to snowball the mid lane into like bot dives, and then Mordekaiser chills on top side. So I can see like the early game win cons of this comp. It's Rocky. Hello, Rocky. How's it going? My dude. I like how it just cuts to the game and it's like just Rocky's face for like a whole 30 seconds. So, yeah, let's just look at the draft order to kind of confirm my suspicions on how this should happen. So, yeah, Victor and Renekton. I don't know why people like Kalista and Devar so much. Actually, I kind of do. So I didn't understand it like 2 years ago when people were doing it so frequently, but I understand it better now. Because of the existence of Shield Bow. That's why I understand it. Because now you have a lot of sustain to deal with poke in the game. Anyway, yes. And then last pick, Mordekaiser. So Mordekaiser versus most of these champs, not bad. Mordekaiser versus like Victor, I don't know. Seems bad. If you go on hit Varus also, seems bad. Also versus Diana. I don't know. Mordekaiser doesn't seem that great this game, but you can pick it into Wukong and vibe. So there you go. I'm assuming it was just like a situation where a lot of shit was banned, so it could have gone Malphite here, throwing that out there. But you don't really want to dive into the Victor comp. So Malphite? Any Malphite enjoyers? Not that you win the lane, but it accomplishes the same thing. It's a little bit better for comp. Okay. Let us fly. Let us ride into the distance and watch this interesting draft. So, goal is to snowball the Renekton lane with the Italy. And then look for dives. But you actually don't really win the lane on the... Leona versus Rel, though, is really nice. So you can threaten lane. The Varus just kills the wave, so there shouldn't really be a dive option for Kalista versus Varus at the timing when Nidalee and Renekton want to go down. So you're probably just playing for jungle control in the lower quadrant, trying to 3 quadrant. Renekton's always a flex. But you're picking Victor because I think the expectation is it's mid. My assumption would be that based on how PSG played, they just expect most the Renekton Italy to go mid because of the fact that PSG like to play to kind of snowball mid. Okay, top side. Yeah, poor Rocky is already somehow horrifically getting destroyed in this lane, so I feel like that should not happen. Wow, that's crazy. He should be able to play this lane like 4 aggro for sure, and get like favorable trades. Like Mordekaiser isn't really that strong until like level 4, but he's somehow losing trades and losing push at the same time. So yeah, he's standing on the web and getting harassed. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Hanabi hit both his E's, but he shouldn't hit both his E's first. Oh, look at that. He's just, what? What? This Wukong player. Okay. So, yeah, what times? So we're getting to invade topside. And, so Diana's looking for bot boy, because he's getting invaded on, so he knows that this has to happen. So I like this play from this, Halo person. Holo? Okay. But then we're TPing bot off of Mordekaiser's Supremacy. So, that's cool. So, already Varus is winning this lane. And we haven't set up a play with Ronak and Finley yet. Ideally, we'd do that before level 6, but kind of already at the point where we're at level 6. I think River just doesn't like fighting it without support. Should have had a good support timer already. But playing for invades off of Lane Prio is okay as well. Yes! Rail him, River. Let's go. Alright. So we do get the play once for Netflix level 6. Seems like the most common timer for River to do anything mid is just wait level 6. Okay. Now what? Okay, what's the gameplay, guys? What are we doing? Are we going to continue to just invade topside? I assume they're just going to continue to invade topside and snowball this advantage with Kalista, Leona playing for roam timers. Even though they lost a significant amount of gold, Leona is good into the roam matchup. They can still threaten skirmish, but they have to play the lane pretty aggressively. So it will depend a lot on jungle timer. Like, if we have vision of jungle top, then it's okay. But most of the time, the ideal timing that you want for support roam should be before we're invading top jungle, which means it'll be at a window where Diana's bot camps are up, so she'll be on bot side. Which makes it kind of hard for them to play for, like, skirmish to get lane prio. To invade topside with jungle on those windows. You're ignoring the Riptailed. Fuck you, Riptailed. Okay, fine. Okay. Leona is just dropping wave. Doesn't give a fuck. It's like, this is a cannon. We're going top of the Riptailed. But they will play volatile because Maple's leading bots. Looks like they at least look like they got the wave in. And now they're rotating top for this rift. So this is actually unironically like good rift. No, never mind. Back cancelled. They crashed on non-cannon wave. Now they have another cannon wave timer. However, Bar Israel is still rotating top, so PSG make a fast play top side, which, you know, I'm a big fan of. I've been saying this, like, if you can't get the prio from bot, you need to make fast play top or mid. Probably top, because bot has less time to rotate. They did that successfully, now they got the root. This might be the best rotated setup we've seen all day from both teams, so yay. Good job, PSG and Boom TV. Or Boom Esports. They're not Boom TV. Boom TV is a production company that does influencer streaming events. Fun fact. Alright, so, yeah, interesting. Snowballing in Italy. Not, we had like one look mid, but generally speaking, they're just using Renekton and Mordekaiser Prio for Italy to like fight Diana and make her life miserable, so that's fine. If LNG get knocked out of plans, why is that the bargain? I don't even know if I could find it. Ah. You didn't know what else to bargain. Okay. Oh, I want to see this actually. People even bots, doing bot camps, looking for an invade attempt. But there's no one on midwave, so Varus Rel should always rotate here first. This is weird. Firm River. I think it's pretty clear that Varus is mid first. So, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe he's like 5-head and he's trading his flash for, I would have traded my flash for mid prio. Because Rel rotating means that Callista, Leona get the next window. And then they play for topside. That's cute. I like that. I'm just gonna call River a genius when I think he was just inting. And then PSG capitalized off of that window. Which is like one of the strikes, right, that we've identified is that if you use a window, like them immediately having a play on the next one is really nice. That's something that I think isn't common among the teams that we've viewed so far, even so. Good advantage for them at Worlds. All right. Now we are shifting up on our next timing for the Ripped Herald, securing the Ripped Herald. I feel like this game is pretty over. This game feels extremely over, but we're here, so. There's still an angle where Victor can win, right? If you're just diving into Victor, so I guess we can just look for PSG closeouts. But looks really hard at this point. Really, really hard. So we top. Now we get midwave. This is our window to control bot side. By us, I mean PSG. We are showing in all 3 lanes, and no one is making a play on any of them to overload one side. They're just kind of playing ultra defensive, which should not end well for them. I guess it's okay if they're just waiting on Victor scaling. But this match setup is not, from in my opinion, like the best. You should control one side of the jungle and force them out, and then collapse on them if they walk up mid or on that side. And then you guarantee your window top and that someone's going to catch that. Then you shift bot is probably better play here. Just because I do think like BME have tools to force like rel bars and decent wave pyramids, so they can just overload one side if you are showing all through mid, and they don't have to be too scared about contesting vision. Yeah, they can force on mid. They can force, I think, Renekton as well. But the main thing is that the PSG give away all their threat by having everyone showing. So it's really easy for like bars to walk up, catch waves, Victor to walk up, catch waves. So they're in a scenario where they can stall out really easily. They don't have to be too scared of getting choked out of vision. To be disadvantaged doesn't matter too much, because again, you're pretty much rotating first by like kind of getting mid wave and going hard. Like you're willing to give up stuff on one side just because of how behind you are. It's the only way that you can make a play is if you're just like running fast and not on the opposite window and forcing on someone, right? So TB shouldn't matter too much because you should always already have numbers advantage. So you drop like bot wave, go mid. So you have 5 mid, and they can at best have 4. And you should just kill someone fast because they're on your side, so it's a lot easier for you to kill someone fast too. It's like the only play you can make, really. Now PSG are just taking advantage of the fact we're not showing, collapsing on, killing everyone, and running it. So yay! It's the standard PSG strategy. We got it, guys. It's back. Run mid because no one knows how to deal with wave timers. Not that BME actually can reasonably. Kill them all. Kill them all. Die, die, die. Dive them! We don't care. I just want them to dive and int. That would be fun. I don't think they even int if they dive though. Like they're so ahead. They have all their ults. They have Mordekaiser ult. Just kill them all. Yes! Dive them! Dive them! Oh yes, they died. They actually did it. Okay, I'm gonna slow this down and watch how they all die. Okay. So we engage here onto Usha, who has stopwatch, and then Wukong ends up zoning Unified. The ults, Wukong. Ruby is completely untouched, I think, is key here. Nice stopwatch. Varus also completely untouched. So they engaged onto Husho as stopwatch, and then Wukong split, like, went onto the front line, which is really good. And Mordekaiser ended up ulting Wukong. So, yeah, mistakes were made. Anyway, back to the entertainment. But also, I think BME played it well. I still think you play this dive, right? But you're not engaging onto like Diana with fucking Zodiac stopwatch, and you're not going to engage onto, and you're not going to leave your backline defenseless versus Wukong. Or if you do, because they don't matter that much, you just drop them as Mordekaiser. Like, I think if Unified dies, no one cares. You just drop them as Mordekaiser, and then you go on to try to get onto ulting, like either Varus or Victor. That is a prediction that I saw on my screen. If Rogue makes it at all. I am having fun. I am enjoying this now. Okay, now we're pushing forward into this. Yay! We killed the Victor. Okay, we just end the game now, right? That's what happens. Right? Right, PSG? Right? Right? No? Maybe? Kill them! They're gonna try. They don't want to do it anymore. I do not think Rogue will make it out of groups. I just do not see a universe where... Like, I have now done enough VOD reviews. There is no universe where Rogue beats both beat T1, both they I think about this. Rogue can take a game off of T1, right? I actually think that that's possible, because I didn't think T1 were that impressive. Let me think about this more. I think there's like the window. So before doing my T1 VOD review, I just assumed Rogue had no chance, because I think Rogue is like one of the worst teams I've VOD reviewed. But then T1 have a lot of really obvious weaknesses, so it's possible. Like T1 will play. The thing is that T1 play teamfights well, but they don't really. I feel like early game is just like a farming simulator, and even though Rogue are not coordinated in their early game, they play for like the 1v1s and 2v2s. Okay. So I could see a universe where like T1 drops a game to Rogue. But beyond that, it should be difficult, I think, for them to get out of groups. Oh, right, sorry. I mean, yeah, no. Rogue is not in that group. Rogue's in the FPX Damwon group. Yeah, versus FPX, they're fucking doomed. Versus Damwon, I think Damwon have good planning around the early game, even though I don't like their mid game much. So I think, yeah, Rogue is doomed. 100T, yeah, 100T, I could see a universe where 100T take a game off of T1. That one I think is actually easier. So, anyway, hi. Sorry. Random tangent for no reason. Thank you, everyone, for the stream. I think we will reconvene tomorrow to do Medlines, which so far the EU VOD reviews have been the most popular, so that'll be fun. I think what I wanted to do was to look for maybe someone to raid, because that is the friendly thing to do, and I haven't been doing that. So there's a lot of tracking the pro streams right now. Should we raid Gabo? We'll raid Gabo. Seems good. Aribo streaming? So should we raid Gabo or Aribo? I feel like I haven't raided Gabo before, so we'll raid Gabo. Okay. Alright. Enjoy some top lane gaming. Have a good day, guys.